Why on earth do Fionna and Cake exist? And not like in a meta sense, we already know that story. A storyboard artist drew Fionna in a 4chan thread. It was a different time, don't worry about it. But why do these two exist in universe? As far as we knew in the earlier seasons, they were just the Ice King's fanfiction, a knockoff of Finn and Jake. But then the show got aloof, slowly building up to the idea that Fionna and Cake could be real, somewhere out there in the multiverse, accumulating in the reveal that a mysterious red beam seemed to be sending images of Fionna and Cake's world into the Ice King's mind when he's asleep. A reveal that was never followed up on until now. This week's batch of Fionna and Cake episodes wrap up what I consider to be the prologue for this series, finally kicking off their adventures around the Adventure Time multiverse. And in the process, we finally have the true origin story for Fionna and Cake's universe, and an explanation for why their world has become so boring and bland. Not only do I want to break down this origin story, but I also want to break down what it means on a metatextual level, because I truly think that this origin story ties into one of the messages this show has for its adult audience. Of course, spoilers ahead.
What time is it? Subscribe time!
Please. So I gotta say, as someone who loves getting their fix of theories and speculation, it was painful not being able to join in on the fun for the past week. Again, I was given screeners for the first 7 episodes of the season, so I just had to keep my dumb mouth shut. Watching everyone throw in their 2 cents, piecing together Fionna and Cake's origin, I was feeling like Squidward. And a lot of people got pretty close to cracking the code, with the most popular theory being that Simon created Fionna and Cake's world through his own powerful imagination. And when he reverted back to normal inside of Gulb, Fionna and Cake's world was stripped of all of its magic as a result. And like I said, this theory was close.
But you guys forgot about the red beam.
So what really happened? Well, Fionna and Cake's world wasn't actually created by Simon, but instead, the beloved Prismo the Wishmaster, who, after eons of granting wishes and making stuff for others, finally wanted to make something for himself. Indulging in what I can only describe as multi-dimensional Sims, he created a universe that, in his own words, just copied Finn and Jake. So he leaned into it. But sadly, Prismo isn't allowed to make stuff for himself. So to stay off his boss's radar, he hid Fionna and Cake's world in the emptiest magic brain he could find, the Ice King's brain, explaining the red beam. Finally, after all these years, everything was smooth sailing for Fionna and Cake's world until the events of Come Along With Me, where Ice King was turned back into Simon, transforming the Land of Awe into the 20th century city we have in this sequel series. Hence the line about the Betty statue being renovated 12 years ago, as that's how long it's been in universe since the finale. Now, Fionna and Cake's universe is in danger, as they're on the run from Scarab, an enforcer of the multiverse who captures those who have abandoned their original universe. And since Fionna and Cake weren't supposed to exist at all, he wants to wipe their entire reality from existence. So Fionna, Cake, and Simon flee, heading off to other worlds in search of a new crown for Simon to wear, ideally transforming him back into the Ice King, which will give him the power to protect everyone from Scarab and restore magic to Fionna and Cake's universe. But is that really the answer? I haven't seen the end of the season, so I really don't know. But I'm fully expecting it to end with Simon staying Simon, and Fionna and Cake's world remaining the way it is, with them somehow keeping access to the multiverse in case they want to do future seasons. So there you have it. That's the origin. And like I said in the intro, I think there's a lot being said here on a metatextual level.
I knew my life was supposed to be magic.
For starters, I think this is not only poking fun at Fionna and Cake's real world origins, but, hear me out, Bee and Puppy Cats as well. Both created by Natasha Allegri. Natasha first drew Fionna and Cake in a 4chan thread back in 2010. Again, it was a different time, and I think there's no denying that these two evolved into Bee and Puppy Cat. Let's apply Prismo's reasons for making them to the life of a storyboard artist. After making so many things for other people, he wanted to make something for himself, much like how a storyboard artist will spend their career working on episodes of shows created by other people. And that's not something an artist will necessarily mind. After all, it's literally what the job is. But after spending years bringing other people's worlds to life, it's only natural to want to work on your own world with its own characters and its own story. It's also natural for the projects you're involved with to influence your own work. But when you realize those influences, it's better to lean into it and let it evolve naturally than to scrap it all and start over from scratch. Case in point, Bee and Puppycat might seem like an Adventure Time knockoff at first glance, but if you sit down and watch, you'll notice that it quickly becomes its own thing, just like Fionna and Cake's universe. The similarities didn't matter to Allegory because just like Prismo, she found comfort in writing their stories.
They're Fionna and Cake, and they go where they want!
Prismo's reasoning for creating Fionna and Cake also ties into the themes of escapism in the series. Wanting to make a change in his life, but because he's unable to, he finds solace in fanfiction and binge-watching his favorite TV show, aka Finn and Jake's Adventures. Pay attention to how many characters wish their lives were different and how they cope with their situations. Fionna wants to be in a world full of magic, while Simon wants out of one. Fiona's escape is her dreams, where she gets to live out a perfect fantasy, while Simon's escape is his work, becoming a living exhibit so that he can immerse himself in a simulation of the past. We learned in Together Again that Finn was never able to move on from Jake's death, and we see the different ways that death has impacted him in the second episode of the series. He falls back on escapism by adventuring out into the wild and throwing himself headfirst into danger, the same things he used to do as a kid. But when it comes to actually opening up and talking about difficult emotions, he's prone to shutting down and changing the subject. Even the villain of this story, Scarab, continues this trend. His motivation to capture Fionna and Cake boils down to wanting a different life, feeling as if he should have been granted the title of Wishmaster.
You just handed me the only thing I want.
My pickles?
The time room!
But from what I've seen so far, he's the only one who doesn't dabble in escapism. He thinks everyone should follow the rules and embrace the cards they were dealt with, whether they like it or not, even if it makes them as miserable as he is. With all of this in mind, it seems like Fionna and Cake intends to explore the pros and cons of escapism. That it's good to strive for a better situation than the one you're currently in, and it's good to have big aspirations. But it's bad to constantly dissociate from reality, to be devoid of any and all attachment to the world around you, to be so caught up in your vices that you lose track of time and neglect your responsibilities. And these are lessons that our trio may have to learn the hard way. I still plan on exploring the parallels between Fionna and Simon in the first 2 episodes that kind of reiterates what I'm saying here, but for now, I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Fionna and Cake's real origin? What's your interpretation of the messages and themes that the show is conveying to us? Let us know in the comments. And you can keep the conversation going over on Twitter and Instagram at AwestruckVox. If you enjoyed this video, please sort to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.